Good morning, class. Today we're going to read a poem and discuss the comprehension strategy monitoring, as well as look at the author's craft within the poem. The poem I'm going to read is called I Am a Ghost Who's Lost His Boo by Jack Prelutsky. While I'm reading, I want you guys to focus on what you notice about the poem. Throughout the poem, you'll hear me say the word boo a lot. And as I say boo, I want you guys to think about what a ghost would look like when he says boo. So every time I say the word boo, I want you guys to go like this and show me your scared face. So pay attention, and after I fluently read it, we will go through it slower and discuss monitoring and how we can use monitoring to better understand what we are reading. I am a ghost who's lost his boo. I am a ghost who's lost his boo. My boo is gone from me, and I'm without a single clue to where my boo might be. It makes me mope, it makes me pout, it almost makes me moan. A ghost is not a ghost without a boo to call his own. My boo was piercing, fierce and loud. I used to strut and boast, for I was positively proud to be a gruesome ghost. But now that I'm without a boo, I find it rather weird that there's little for a ghost to do whose boo has disappeared. Although I hover here and there and haunt 100 rooms, it seems there's no one I can scare unless my boo resumes. I am a ghost who's lost his boo. Alas, a boo I lack. If you should find my boo, then you had better give it back. Okay, guys, so we just read that, and I loved seeing the scary boo faces every time I said boo. But now we're going to go back through and we're going to read it slower, and we're going to talk about monitoring. Now, monitoring is a way for you to, when you're reading, you monitor yourself to tell whether you have understood what you have just read. So one of the techniques that you use while you're monitoring is rereading. And earlier we had discussed the idea of a traffic light. When you're driving down the road and you come to a light and it's red, you always stop. So we're going to use the same idea as we're reading. And as you can see, at the top of the paper, there is a red, yellow, and green on the traffic light. So after every 4 lines, we're going to go to our traffic light, and if we can summarize and we understand what we had just read, we'll color the traffic light green and we'll keep reading, because like we talked about with a regular traffic light, green means go. If we come to a part that we've heard the word before, but we're not real sure what it means, we're going to color it yellow, and we'll go back and we'll reread, because rereading is a good way to monitor yourself. And then once we've reread it, if we understand it, we'll color it green. However, if we have to mark it red because we've never seen the word and we don't understand what it means, then we will color our traffic light red, reread, and if we still don't understand, we may have to go to the dictionary, we may have to ask a friend, or you guys can ask me, and we'll work together to come up with an answer to your question. So, I'm going to read the first 4 lines, and we're going to think about it. I am a ghost who's lost his boo. My boo is gone from me. I'm without a single clue to where my boo might be. Well, I understand that the ghost has lost his boo, which is what makes him scary, and he doesn't know where it is. So I can color my traffic light green and continue reading. Now, while I was reading, I did notice that after the last word of the first and third lines rhymed, boo and clue, and also the last words of the second and fourth lines rhymed, me and be. So I'll have to keep reading and see if this pattern continues, and if so, this could be a sign of an author's craft, as well as the repetition of the word boo that we had talked about previously. So let's go on and read the next 4 lines. It makes me mope. I wonder what that means. I've heard the word before, but I'm unsure of what it means, so we're going to underline it yellow and color our stoplight. It makes me pout, it makes me moan. A ghost is not a ghost without a boo to call his own. Since I have heard the word mope before, let's just reread it and see if we can figure it out. It makes me mope, it makes me pout, It almost makes me moan. Well, I'm thinking that the word mope must just mean the same thing as pout and moan, because they kind of go together. So they must just be synonyms for each other. So I'm just going to think that mope must just be another way that the ghost is reacting. So we can color our light green and continue reading. My boo was piercing, fierce, and loud. Piercing. That's another word that I've heard before, but I'm not sure what it means. Let's keep reading and then we'll go back. I used to strut and boast, for I was positively proud to be a gruesome ghost. Gruesome. That's a hard word. I don't even know what that means. Let's underline it red, and we'll go back and reread the whole thing. My boo was piercing, fierce, and loud. Okay, I remember when I got my ears pierced that it hurt, and it was sharp, and maybe the word piercing means sharp. Let's try replacing that word. My boo was sharp, fierce, and loud. That sounds right. So piercing just must mean something painful and hard. So let's go on to gruesome. Gruesome reminds me of the word gross. Just saying it. Gruesome, gross. So I know that gruesome is describing a ghost. So let me think about a time at Halloween when there was a ghost and what they were supposed to seem like. Well, I remember that a ghost was supposed to be kind of scary, so maybe gruesome is just another word for scary. That has to be it. So I'm just going to assume that gruesome means scary, and I'm going to keep reading. So we colored our light green, and I look back, and if you look at my paper, I have colored all of them green, so now I can keep reading and continue on. But now that I'm without a boo, I find it rather weird. There's little for a ghost to do whose boo has disappeared. I understand that the ghosts feel like he doesn't have much to do now that he can't scare people with his boo. His boo is like his voice, and I know that if I didn't have my voice, I would be scared and it would be really weird too. So I'm going to color my traffic light green and continue reading. Although I hover here and there and haunt 100 rooms, it seems there's no one I can scare unless my boo resumes. Okay. I underlined resumes with yellow because I have heard it before, but I'm still not positive what it might mean. Let's go back and reread. Although it seems there's no one I can scare unless my boo comes back. Come back. That sounds right. That fits right in where resumes was. So resumes must mean that they come back or they return. Okay, so we can color our light green and continue reading. I am a ghost who's lost his boo, alas, a boo I lack. If you should find my boo, then you had better give it back. This makes sense because the boo still cannot find his boo. The ghost can still not find his boo, and if someone would find it, he would want it back. It would just be like if we lost something. We would want somebody to give it back if they found it, right? That's right. So I color my traffic light green. Now, looking back over the whole poem, I remembered that I wanted to go back and check about rhyming words. So I'm going to check the last word of the first and third lines of every section, and we'll see if they rhyme. Boo, clue, pout, without, loud, proud, boo, do, rooms, resumes, lack, back. Yes, they all rhyme. And the second and fourth words do too. Me and be, moan and own, boast and ghost, weird, disappeared, rooms, resumes, boo, and you. Okay, so we've found an author's craft where the last word of the first and third lines and the last word of the second and fourth lines all rhyme. And like we had talked before, the repetition of the word boo throughout the poem. Okay, so now that we look back over and we see that we have all of our traffic lights are green, so we know that we have fully understood this poem and we used we used monitoring to do this. So now you guys can all get your poems, and we won't always look after every 4 lines, but in your poems, I'll have it divided off, and when you see the stoplight, you'll stop, and you'll look back, and you'll remind yourselves, if you understood it, you color it green. If you didn't, you color it yellow, and if you've never heard of the word before, you color it red. And always remember to reread to try to help you think of an idea or relate it to something you already know. Alright class, go ahead and work on your own poems now.